Wow, there's a lot of people here. We are super excited to be here right now. Who is we? Let me show you. There's a video here. If I push this.
Hey, TEDxArendal.
Bonjour, TEDx.
Hey, TEDxArendal. Hello, TEDxArendal.
Hello, TEDxArendal.
Hello, TEDxArendal.
Welcome, TEDxArendal.
Hi everyone at TEDxArendal.
Hi, TEDxArendal. How's all going?
Hello, TEDxArendal. Love from Hong Kong.
A big welcome to TEDxArendal from New Zealand.
Hello, TEDxArendal. I'm from Ireland.
Hello to everyone at TEDxArendal.
Hallo, TEDxArendal. Har den beste dagen nooit zijn. Vrij Scotland.
Hola, TEDx.
G'day, my mates at TEDxArendal. This is coming from Australia.
Hello from Finland, TEDxArendal.
Hello, TEDxArendal from Scotland.
TEDxArendal. Namaste from India. I love Shaun a lot. High five.
Isn't that awesome? So, that is just a small handful of all the friends I've made all over the world in the past 3 years doing social media. It's incredible. Even here, just in Arendal yesterday, a group of school kids ran up to me and they're like, Shonduras, and we started talking, and they talked to me about skateboarding and my family. It's like we had been friends forever because they had followed me on social media. Funny story, one of the kids actually said, will you sign my shoe? And I was like, if you sign my shoe, I'll do it. So I got a signature on my shoe right here. Yeah, it's pretty cool. Social media has completely changed the way that we communicate. In a matter of seconds, we can take those things that mold who we are, that make us most unique, and post them for the world to see. Some people think that's fabulous. It's a never-ending pool of knowledge, and it refreshes every day. Other people think social media might be impersonal or possibly just a waste of time. No matter what you think about social media, my job of this talk right now to you guys is to help you realize that social media can improve your quality of life, 100%. So, if there's one thing that you take away from this talk, if you don't listen to me anymore, just remember, social media can improve your quality of life. Let me explain. Flashback to where it all started for me, Facebook. That was the very first social media platform that I used. I was running a skateboard and snowboard business at the time, and not a lot of customers were coming in. I noticed that a lot of them bought their snowboards on the internet. So I wanted to learn more about the internet, e-commerce, and so I started looking at building a business online, and I thought, what better place to do it than Facebook? There's this giant group of people that has needs, and I can provide value for them. And so I decided I was going to start a business using Facebook, using social media. When I started to look at Facebook, I was like, who should I target? Who's my demographic? Does everyone know who's in control of Facebook? Moms. They're everywhere. They kicked us all off Facebook, and now they own it. And so I was like, moms, that is going to be my target demographic. And so I started selling jewelry and scarves and socks and all this fun. It worked out incredibly, and I learned about the interaction and engagement on social media. I would make a post that say, I have these new necklaces. What should we name them? And all the moms would hop on, and we should name it this. And it was actually they probably didn't think it was a boy wearing tight pants and long hair that was talking to them on Facebook. They probably thought it was another girl, but I would interact with them, and I'd say, oh, rainy day, what movie should I watch? And they'd start, you could watch The Notebook or this. Already seen it, girls. And so we'd talk back and forth, and it was kind of interesting, but the business went incredible, and the interaction was so good, and we sold so many necklaces. And there's one thing I learned from Facebook. It was about that interaction engagement that you find on social media. But the one thing that I didn't have there was passion. I wasn't passionate about selling jewelry necklaces to women on Facebook. I enjoyed the business side, and I learned a lot, but it wasn't my passion. So that's why I decided to chase something elsewhere. Actually, honestly, Erase, if there's one thing you remember from this talk, it's that. Find what you're passionate about and get after it. And I wasn't passionate about jewelry. The thing I was passionate about was adventure and snowboarding and living life every day to the fullest. And so that's when I hopped on Snapchat. Snapchat was a perfect platform to be able to share my adventures and my outlooks on life and how you should always be positive and just enjoy yourself. Mix that with the creativity and the uniqueness of the platform. If any of you are unfamiliar with Snapchat, you can take pictures or videos and draw on them and link them together and create an entire story. Let me just kind of show you. This is some things I've done on Snapchat.
See you guys later. Had a blast.
I don't think he remembers that. Okay, so Snapchat was incredibly fun, and I started to make more and more content, and more people started seeing it. They started telling their friends, you got to follow this Shonduras guy on Snapchat, and everybody was really enjoying it. And that's when I started to, get hit up by Forbes and New York Times and all these different places, and I started appearing on the internet, and I became this social media celebrity where everyone was following me and watching what I could do. And that's when I started to learn the power of that position, that I could share my positivity with everyone any day at any moment of the time. And there are two parts to that power of social media that each of you guys can have if you use social media effectively. The two parts are create and consume. As you're creating social media, you have this opportunity to live life to the fullest. You do things that you normally wouldn't do in order to get the shot. So for example, if you are very talented at a musical instrument, but you've never shared that talent with anyone, it takes some courage, but eventually you could play that musical instrument, post on Instagram or Facebook and Snapchat, and people could listen and, wow, that's incredible, and be inspired by you, or I didn't know you played that instrument, and that's cool you shared that, I want to share one of my talents. And so you can create, and it also pushes you to live every day kind of to the fullest. I just had a 1-year-old daughter, and she's incredible, and we think of all these fun things to do together because of social media. I'm like, hey, should we do a slip and slide today? And my wife's like, yeah, let's do a slip and slide. I'm like, well, if we did the slip and slide with milk and cereal, that would be pretty cool. So we end up doing a cereal slip and slide. And it's those kind of things that push me to create amazing content. The other end is consuming, which is equally important. I did not realize that. When you consume content, you're taking these people and you're motivating them. When that person posts their musical talent on social media and you like it, or you comment, wow, that was incredible, you're validating them. You're boosting their confidence. So many of us are so busy with jobs and the adult stuff that we do that we lose these connections with our family and our friends. And even though social media is not the most personal way to make those connections, you're at least making them. So when you're on social media and using it often, you're able to like those pictures and communicate with your friends. Or my mom watches my videos all the time because I'm always traveling. She has no idea where I am, and it makes her happy to know that I'm safe. Or actually, sometimes when she watches my videos, she's more nervous about what I'm doing, but she at least knows that I'm alive when she watches them. And so it connects us with the people that we're interacting with. So consuming is just as important. And actually, that's probably erase everything. If there's one thing you learn from this talk, that's it. That not just creating social media content, not just posting and hoping you get a lot of likes, but consuming and interacting with other people and liking their pictures and saying how wonderful their shot is, or that's so cool they can do that. That can provide so much value and strengthen all your relationships with your family and friends and even complete strangers. Right now in Norway, the second I landed in Kristiansand, a friend I had never met before, but I felt like he was my best friend, picked me up from the airport, and we've been together for 3 days because we do social media, and I've watched his Snapchat stories, he's watched mine, and it's like we are best friends. And it's been amazing. So that's what social media can do. As I started to realize this incredible influence that I had on the entire world, I started to think more heavily about the message that I wanted to send. So as I continued to do Snapchats, I also started a YouTube channel where every day was the best day ever. I post a video every single day on YouTube called the best day ever 1, best day ever 2, best day ever 3. I think we're up to the high 200s now, and every single day, no matter what happens, we make it the best day ever. If I'm on a 12-hour flight to Norway, I make that the best day ever. I go and hang out with the pilot, I get a picture in the cockpit, I make friends with the stewardess, and she gives me extra Pringles, and it all works out. And you just make it the best day ever, no matter what happens. And being able to share that message and have people come up to me and say, dude, I love what you do. I love that you can skateboard but still be a dad. You can have long hair and be crazy and do backflips but still be responsible and have a job and graduate from college. They're able to see these examples that I'm setting, and it motivates me to be a better person and set those examples for them. So again, it's helping the creator and the consumer. It's incredible. I love social media, and I hope that you guys will also love it. Now, at the very beginning, we talked about how some people really like social media and some people not so much. There's one thing that you need to learn in order to keep you positive about social media. And there's just one thing. So if you forget everything else we've talked about, this is what you need to know right here, this story. It's a story. When I lived in Honduras, that's where my name comes from, by the way. I was on a 2-year LDS mission in Honduras serving the people, and I was in a rainforest area. And as I was in there, there's this story that I'd always hear about, did you know how the frog became king of the rainforest? And at first I was like, frog's not the king of the rainforest. I think you're wrong. But I was curious, so I would listen to the story, and I learned that the frog is the king of the rainforest, and here's why. Once upon a time, long time ago, all the frogs lined up to get to the top of the mountain. No frog had ever been to the top of the mountain. If they were able to get to the top, they would become king of the rainforest. So all of them lined up and they're ready to go, and all the animals watched, like, no frog can get to the top of the mountain. That's silly. And they all watched, and all right, go. And all the frogs started jumping and jumping, climbing up the mountain. And they got to their first, big cliff, and they're all trying to hop up, and they're falling, and all the animals laughed. They're like, these frogs don't know what they're doing. They look silly. And a bunch of frogs were like, yeah, this is embarrassing, and they hopped away into the rainforest. A couple of them got up to the top, and then there's the big river, and it was rushing and really fast, and they started swimming across, and everyone's like, oh my gosh, that's a bad idea. You better just hop on a log and call it quits. A bunch of frogs were like, yeah, this is scary. They hopped on the log, and they called it quits. But a couple kept going, got up to it got into the darkness, and they just kept going through the jungle. It was so crazy. And eventually, all of them turned around, and a bunch of the animals went up to the top of the mountain to see if any of the frogs had made it. And they're waiting, and one frog comes hopping up to the top of the mountain. They're like, oh my gosh, here's the frog. He made it. He gets up and they're like, you did it. How do you feel right now? And the frog just sat there. Like, well, what did you do? Are you tired? You're going to be king of the jungle now. What do you think? The frog just sat there. And that's when one of the animals realized that the frog was deaf. He hadn't heard anything they said the entire way up. When everyone was saying, you can't do it, you can't cross the river, he didn't hear any of it. He just knew he was supposed to get to the top of the mountain and he was going to do it. And that's how the frog became king of the rainforest, in case you were curious. And so that was an important lesson for me, and I think the same thing goes with social media. We can post so much creative content and help so many people and make so many connections all around the world as long as we're just focused on the positive. You will always have one or two people that will say something negative on social media. There's trolls on the internet, but you don't have to listen to them. You can pretend to be a deaf frog that becomes a king of the rainforest if you want. And that's what I would really love for all of you guys to do, is to take this talk that I just am giving right now and put it into your lives. Use social media more. Use it to improve your quality of life, both creating content, getting outside of your box, finding out what your talents really are, and then also connecting with other people. I guess kind of as I wrap up my talk here, I know I keep saying this, but for real, this is the last one. I promise this is the last time I'm going to say this. If there's one thing you remember, it's something that, this is an important one. It's something that one of my friends told me who also does social media. He posts YouTube videos. His name's Casey Neistat, and we've become really good friends. And one time I was over at his house, and we were filming, and he's like, oh, this is my friend Shaun, and he, what do you do? And I was like, I don't know. Like, everyone always asks, like, what do I do? And he's like, you know what? Shaun, you're a professional fun haver. I thought, yeah, I like that. I like the sound of that. I work hard, but I'm a professional fun haver.
That's his job. He's a professional fun haver. You guys look great. Shaun, you look good. Woo! Take your next right. You know how to use the brakes?
No. Perfect. So I challenge each of you to become professional fun havers, use social media more, and it will change your quality of life. The end. Thank you. Nailed it.